Seoul, Korea. Blue Square, iMarket Hall, live. 2018, GSL versus the world. It has been full of epic matches of the world's best StarCraft 2 players. 2018 GSL versus the world. The last day has finally come. A very special match held in Seoul Blue Square iMarket Hall. 2018 GSL versus the world team match. Now, introducing the two teams of the top players. Along with the 8 years of GSL history, he is the last hope of Terran and the prodigy of GSL. Number 1 in the 2018 WCS KR standing, Maru and his Alliance of All-Stars, Team Maru. ShoWTimE, Dark, Special, Soup, Pop, Stats, Cyan, and Maru. Winning 3 consecutive WCS circuit titles in 2018. The ultimate overmind of the circuit. Number 1 in the 2018 WCS circuit standing, Serral and his Legion of All-Stars. Team Serral. Rogue, Neeb, Innovation, Scarlett, Classic, Kelazhur, Zest, and Serral. Armed with brilliance and unity, let's meet Team Maru and Team Serral.
The final day, we're here. GSL versus the world. We're going to start this off with a show match of Team Maru versus Team Serral, and then go on to the GSL finals of Serral versus Stats.
Yeah, it has been insane so far. This venue is awesome. I can't believe that intro. I mean, this is truly an all-star match.
Loving it, guys. I'm so excited. I love the images. Well, have you seen how cool Serral looks in that banner? If I wasn't a big Serral fanboy, yes, I'm absolutely the biggest fanboy right now. So excited. So damn cool to be here.
The energy in here is electric. It's beyond expectations here on the floor of the Blue Market Square. Caster Park on stage for the team right now.
And we're going to have our translator take care of what Caster Park's saying in just a second. So, anyways, guys, it's been incredible to be down here. This has been one of the best tournaments I've ever done.
So Maru said in his interview that he's not confident playing versus you, and a lot of Korean players consider you as one of the most formidable opponents. What are your thoughts about that?
Obviously, respect that opinion, but I think a lot of Korean players have a very good chance against me and probably are favored against me, so I'll just take that as a compliment.
제가 비록 이기긴 했지만 어쨌든 강한 상대들이기 때문에 그냥 어느 정도 살짝 좀 엄살 부리는 것 같아서 일단 그냥 저도 최선을 다해서 하도록 하겠습니다. You're considered as a strategist in the StarCraft 2 community. You're playing versus Zest, a Korean player. Are your strategies well polished enough to beat the Korean players with them?
大家都说你的打法战略很有趣，这次比赛你也展现出那样的有趣的打法风格吗？
PVP 就是运气嘛，所以我应该是照平常那样打。
저는 평상시에 하던 대로 그냥 후회 없는 경기를 하고 싶습니다.
I'm just gonna play out as I usually play out, and I just try to put as much effort in it, and hopefully hope for the best. If you lose to Haas in the team battle, then you have a losing record versus the entire circuit team in this tournament. What are your motives coming into this team battle?
일단 16강에서 쇼타임 선수한테 진 게 지금 아직도 분해가지고 오늘 꼭 이겨야지 그 분이 좀 풀릴 것 같아요.
I'm still very furious about the loss versus ShoWTimE in the round of 16, and I still haven't got over with it. So I need to win this game in order to get over with my struggles and losses. This team battle is consisted of many stellar StarCraft 2 players all around the world. Who do you want to face the most in Team Serral?
在这么大型的比赛当中，你想遇到谁？哪个选手？
其实我很想和把本再打一次，并且复仇，但是他现在是我的队友。如果从三友队里选的话，我会选肉哥，因为我觉得他是对面队里面最强的一位，而且我也比较喜欢他的风格，所以我想和他打。
원래 저는 스타즈 선수를 만나서 한번 복수를 해주고 싶었지만 같은 팀이라서 그건 포기하고요. 지금은 상대방 선수 중에서 제일 강한 이병렬 선수하고 만나고 싶습니다.
Before the team selection, I initially wanted to play Zest again because I lost to him. However, we're in the same team, so I have to leave that as it is. So from Team Serral, I would like to play versus Rogue, one of the stronger team members from Team Serral. A lot of the non-Korean players have shown stellar performances in this GSL versus the World Singles Tournament. who do you have in mind as the victor for this team battle today? Which team's going to win?
I have a lot of confidence in our team. I think almost every player on our team is going to win.
저희 팀 전체에 매우 자신감이 있기 때문에 팀원들이 너무 든든해서 저희 팀 선수들 나가는 족족 다 이길 것 같습니다. You came short to reach the finals. However, as a Korean representative, how are you going to play versus the non-Korean players, and what kind of taunts do you have today?
사실 세랄 선수만 약간 김치가 아니고 한국인 느낌이라서 뭐 세랄 선수 빼면 그냥 다 외국인일 뿐이거든요. 그래서 뭐 자신감은 하늘을 찌르고 있는데 오늘 또 다시 한번 꺾어주게 생겼네요.
Serral is the only outlier. So besides Serral, other players are just other ordinary non-Korean players. So my confidence is out of the roof, and I'll make sure that confidence leads to victory. And I'll make sure I'll prove that once more that non-Koreans are non-Koreans. So Dark said just now in the interview that besides Serral, other non-Koreans are just non-Korean players. So what do you think about his comments?
I think Serral is not the only very successful non-Korean. Like, I was very successful last year too, and a lot of other non-Koreans are very good too. So maybe through this match we can show him that what he said isn't true.
세랄 선수가 외국인 선수들 중에서 제일 잘하는 건 맞지만 그렇다고 해서 저희가 그냥 있는 게 아니기 때문에 오늘 경기를 토대로 박영우 선수에게 확실히 박영우 선수의 그 말들이 사실이 아니라는 걸 확실하게 증명해드리겠습니다. So Maru specifically pointed you out as the potential opponent to play versus Serral. Are there any words to Serral?
성주가 뭐 말은 저렇게 했지만 솔직히 제가 이길 거라고 생각하지는 않는 것 같아요. 그냥 세랄한테 그 좀 비빌 수 있는 애는 저밖에 없다 뭐 이런 식인 것 같은데 근데 막상 또 해보면 성주가 이길 것 같거든요. 그냥 괜히 엄살피는 것 같아요.
So that's just Maru's perspective. I'm not sure about how I'm going to play out versus Serral, but in my opinion, I think Maru can take out Serral. So I don't know what he's talking about. So a lot of players in my team think that I'm the one who can put up a fight versus Serral, but I think we'll see.
The team match first, followed up by that finals. Can't wait to see who will be playing against Serral. Will Sue be thrown to the wolf?
I love how the Koreans are bantering a lot about who's going to take out Serral. Even yesterday when Serral was playing against Innovation, it was a really funny scenario when they were sitting in the makeup room. They were watching the game. Anyway, I'll show it later. It's too long of a story with TLDR. They're having a lot of fun.
2018 GSL versus the world.
What an amazing day, guys. We're going to have this kick-ass show match with Team Maru versus Team Serral, and then we're going to go right to our GSL versus the World Finals.
I mean, it's going to be a great day no matter what. We're going to see all 8 matches, and if it's tied, we get that Serral versus Maru match. Oh my God, please.
Fingers crossed, my toes are crossed under the desk as well. Everyone wants it at home. We all want it here. I love the way that the format works out. There's actually a very good chance we're going to see that ace match because of the way that the losers get to pick their potential sniper and then counter picks as well. I just want to start the games, Artosis.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. I must say I really love all the banter. I wonder how serious they are. I think that the Koreans are obviously joking, but at the same time they are a little serious and they do not want to lose against Serral again, you know. So it is really fun. We'll share some more side stories later, which is what I want to go with before, but I'm excited, guys, especially that first game as well. This is a fun one to start with.
It's kind of crazy because the Koreans are so dominant at StarCraft. It's hard to find any comparison of any nation being as dominant at anything than Koreans
Americans at American football.
Well, that's true.
Koreans at archery?
The Koreans at archery as well. No, but seriously, I mean, there's a lot of pride on the line.
Yeah.
All of these Korean players do want to beat their opposing non-Korean opponent. But also, I mean, there's a lot of pressure for Stats here today, too.
Yeah, I mean, he is, you know, the last defending Korean player to go up here against Serral. Serral's already taken everyone else out, but we'll talk more about that later on. Of course, the team matchup that is going to be occurring, we're starting off with that. We start with Zest versus Haas. But then we get that pick-counter-pick scenario, and this is going to be so much fun. Korean versus non-Korean every single time.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of how the format works out, which is great. So we are actually getting that GSL versus the world that everyone wanted. And the first match, I mean, Haas, the madman, against the PDP god, that is Zest. Thoughts on that one, Roddy?
I have the feeling that Team Maru was hoping for Team Serral to start a Zerk on Darkness Sanctuary. I think that's kind of what they were hoping for. That's why they threw Haas out there. And then suddenly Haas has to play a PvP against Zest. Now Zest obviously looked vulnerable in his games against ShoWTimE, but he already said, you know, I'm upset about it. I'm not going to let that happen again. So I think this is a good start for Team Serral. But like you guys say as well, there's a lot of advantage for the team that just came off a losing match because they can counter pick.
Yeah.
So there's a really good chance we'll get to see that ace match, and that's obviously what we all want.
I feel like, you know, it's a very complicated math problem, but we did as best we can to get the ace match. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like the rules are all set there. We have a decent chance. God, I hope it happens.
Of course, worth mentioning as well, we're not playing for nothing. This is not for funs and giggles. There is $8,000 on the line, or $8 million. Why are you laughing at me,
giggles. Put that on your tombstone.
Why not? Now there's
Here lies Roddy. He had plenty of funs and giggles.
That's what I live for, guys. Why do you guys think I hang out with you guys so often?
No, that's for sure.
Make my life
The
a little
giggles at
happier.
least.
Yeah, lots of fun as well.
Yeah.
Anyways, but they are $8,000 on the line for the winning team. $3,000 for the losing team, but there's also $4,000 on the line for the winning region. So if the non-Koreans put up a really good fight and win more matches than the Koreans do, they'll walk away with extra money as well.
And definitely a lot of money on the line, but I think prestige is where it's really at for GSL versus World. This is an all-star match. That's what this is, right? The winner of this doesn't go to BlizzCon. Well, actually, I guess they do, because Stats and Serral are definitely going to make it. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, playing for a little bit of money, but playing for a lot of respect, and also to try and save some face after a few, a couple upsets there in the GSL Fest 12, like proper tournament that we've had over the past few days. And Zest is definitely angry after losing to ShoWTimE.
Oh, certainly. I'm really looking forward to this match as well. Haas versus Stats. Haas has really had a huge breakout here about halfway through 2018. He's always been known for having a crazy style. A lot of people thought it was more of a gimmick and less of something that should ever work in a tournament. But we just saw in Valencia, he got to the finals. It was one of the coolest finals we've gotten to see in a long time. Maybe not as cool as the finals we're going to have tonight, but he has been able to take out huge name players, and I'm really curious what he's going to try to deliver against Zest, somebody who's been so stable, off and on the best Protoss in the world.
Cannon rushing on a 4-player map in PvP. Let's just do it.
Look, you only have to send out 3 probes, okay? It's not that bad. Now listen to me on this one, guys. 4-player map, so already some randomness in there. And I challenge you to name a better duo than Haas and Best of One, because that is his format right there, okay?
I mean, you're right, Dartosis. It is very, very scary. It's not going to be like Valencia, where I just sat there and rolled my eyes every time he talked about how great Haas is. I'm actually with you on this one. He is extremely scary in this best of one format. I mean, the randomness of the 4-player spawns, where he spawns, and what he has planned here, which I'm guaranteed is something that Zest is not likely going to have to much practice against.
I agree with all of you guys, but at the end of the day, this is PvP on Darkness Sanctuary, so there really isn't that much you can do. That's like, oh my goodness, that would never happen again. Maybe a couple crazy proxy robo builds, or like I said, you may as well try to cannon rush. Is it good? No, but that's when he makes it work. So.
Indeed, indeed.
We are so close to jumping into this game. Haas versus Zest. I got chills, guys. This has been one of the funnest events I have ever done.
Yeah.
The stage looks amazing, and our game is now loading up. So, guys, tell your friends to join us here. Haas versus Zest, Taiwan versus Korea.
Fight!
And it begins. In the top right from Taiwan, the runner-up of WCS Valencia and a fan favorite, it is...
Of course, representing Team Maru in this show match. And on the left top side of Darkness Sanctuary, a member of Team Serral. He's the best.
And here we go, Roddy. I can't wait to see what Haas has planned here, because, I mean, if you go into a regular macro game, you'd think that Zest has all the skills there.
Yes, he should be way more comfortable in the later stages of PvP. Now, of course, there's always 3 diehard fans that say, but what about his games against ShoWTimE? It happens. It wasn't his best series, but we all have those series. At the end of the day, these guys are just human as well, and maybe Zest just didn't have it that day. ShoWTimE looked fantastic. It is what it is. But that doesn't mean that Haas suddenly is more solid than Zest in a 12-minute PvP.
No.
That's just not the case, guys. We can't say that after a single performance. I'm excited, man. This is going to be so fun. It's really loud in this building as well. Jeez, but it actually kind of adds to the hype. It really feels that everybody's here to have a good time. I don't think I'm going to be able to speak at the end of the night, but I'm totally okay with this. For now, all the openings are, or both the openings rather, are very standard.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy happening on Darkness.
No, it does not look too bad what we see here on either side. Zest finds Haas first, so Haas going to go ahead and scout, knowing that Zest must have come from the top left. And Zest going with a couple of depths here, whereas Haas kind of going for the more laid-back Sentry stalker.
If I would be Zest here, I would play Soul Save. I would go Stargate, and I would probably even go Robo before Expand. And I know that's crazy, and I know that's something that the pros almost never do. But Zest should know that the longer this game goes, the better it is for him. Haas is obviously a really good player since he made it to the finals of WCS Valencia, but Oh wow, Zest actually canceled his target, I think. All right, so this is dangerous territory we're heading in. He is playing mind games on Has, but you can't do such a thing.
Oh my gosh. Well, now, oh, okay, so that was the cancel of the Stargate into the Twilight, huh?
You know, normally I could say like, hey, that's kind of cool, and that's a nice little move, but I don't think you should have that kind of an approach when you play against Has. If you're Zest, just be confident, play the most solid style you can.
I know what you mean. Like, this might be something that you do against the world's best Protoss, right? You're playing against stats, and you do it like that, but it might end up working out for him, right? He's going for a Dark Shrine, and there's a Twilight on the way, which is a good counter to Stargate.
No, absolutely. You're spot on. It might work out, but that doesn't mean I'm a fan of it just because of what we just said. Like Zest, you can be solid. You don't have to be the aggressor. You don't have to be the one that comes up with weird tactics.
Yeah.
Because your mechanics should be good enough to carry you through.
Sure.
Here. But hey, if it works, guys, if Has is absolutely not even going to have a robo, he will scout. But that's a late scout, even though that Dark Shrine is not even halfway done. And Zest is also getting Blink. Let's see if this Phoenix can actually spot the Dark Shrine.
Well, I think it probably will end up scouting it, right? And that might end up being enough for him. Of course, he's making a couple shield batteries as well. Look at this. He actually finishes the Shade, gets into the main base here of Haas.
He had no energy in the force field, of course, because he used the hallucinated Phoenix. So well done there by Zest. And Zest is going to get more than just a couple probes here. Ends up getting 5 probes, cancels the Shade. He goes all the way in. Gets 8 workers already in a 4-minute game.
And look at this, 8 workers, plus we don't see the Robo started. He scouted the Dark Shrine, and finally he makes it.
Now Zest is also proxying a Robo, by the way. What?
A proxied Robo?
Yes. As far as I saw, Zest built a Robo.
Oh my gosh. Well, he's just gonna, I mean, it's a closer prism to get him into the main, but maybe Immortals?
This is still going to take a little while for Has. Obviously, he has the robotics facility on the way, but he lost a lot of workers, so he's not that rich. That's not the best force field he could have possibly dropped. But now he pushed his stock into the wrong direction as well. This is bad for Has. This is very bad. Hey, he cannot lose power to these gates, by the way, because he needs extra warp pins as well.
Yeah, that is very true. Warps in another sentry here, so we'll be able to continually save this for a bit. Pretty decent defense considering how late he started the Robo.
Doesn't have gas yet for the Observer, now he finally does. I do think he's gonna end up losing that gateway and probably even end up losing the pilot. Has is not gonna die here, but Zest has played this very well, and you know, everything I said, well, it turned out that Zest knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, well, it was still a little bit of a risk, but I guess he did trick Haas a bit. Now, how does Haas play from this position? How does he end up coming back?
Okay, he didn't proxy the Robo, that's good. So it must have been just a proxy gateway. I really thought that was a Robo, guys. Apologies, the screen's a little small, and my eyes maybe not as good as they used to be. So that makes a lot more sense. That's not doing that, that kind of crazy stuff. If I'm Has here, I get a second shield battery, and I probably just pump out Immortals and probes. That's pretty much all you can do. He's just be taking a lot of economic damage. He really kind of struggled in dealing with the Dark Templars as well. So the best thing you can do is get another shield battery in your natural and hope that Zest throws away the lead that he has created for himself.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to imagine Zest gets pretty darn good from a lead. But to be honest, we haven't seen him play from too many leads this weekend, have we, Roddy?
That's true. I mean, this is kind of nice by Has, but now the Stalker's out of position as well. Okay, he's gonna blink back into his main base. But he still only has a single battery, I believe, in his natural. Has needs more than that because he's just been taking a lot of damage. Force fields are not gonna save the day here because there's an Archon in the mix as well.
Oh man, and Zest just going after him, going for the throw, killing absolutely everything. That is it, GG. And Zest ends up taking game 1 in an extremely quick and convincing fashion.
He tricked Has. That counts like 2 victories in a single game, actually.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. He tricked the tricker himself here. That looked like a move that Haas would end up pulling off, but Zest does it. Zest, once again, being a tricky PvP player even.
You know what's my favorite moment about that game? It's not even the fact that he cancelled the Stargate and went for the DTs, because that was cool and all. But what I love is that he shaded forward with the 6 adepts right after the Phoenix, or excuse me, the Sentry used its energy to hallucinate a Phoenix. So when he picked up that pylon, he couldn't actually force field those adepts in anymore. And that's when the adepts just ran into the middle line and killed 8 probes. I think that was a very, very good move and excellent timing.
Yeah, you're quite right about that. I was like, oh, he finished it. Oh, I get it. Very nice move. What did you guys think?
We were just looking at it from backstage there, and yeah, I mean, I would have described it exactly as you described it. The tricks to getting tricked there. The DT play there from Zest is a little bit too strong. Haas is finding himself way too many centuries against a guy that has an Archon. Never a good situation.
I'm actually pretty curious about what exactly is going to happen as time passes with Haas, because he had this big breakout where he was really dominant. But how long does that last, you know? We saw it again shut down here with Zest. You know, if you're being a really sneaky, tricky player, sometimes if you play as crazy as they do, they're off their footing. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's quite true. And, well, Haas, unfortunately, going to go home from GSL from the World, versus the World, rather. And he hasn't really won a game. That's unfortunate, but it was fun seeing him here. I definitely enjoyed his series against Special, at least.
We're going to see him again in Montreal, of course. That's happening in just a little over a month. So this means that now Team Serral is going to send out their player, and they have to send out a non-Korean player. So they have to send out a circuit player.
Oh, it's going to be our Brazilian, Kelazhur.
Okay, Kelazhur, it's time for you to shine. Getting 3-0'd by Serral and being sent out now. Who will be fielded against Kelazhur? What's your favorite pick for this?
Maru.
Maru.
Wow.
You're so funny.
I'm glad you're not Captain Ruddy.
No, I think I'd send Cyan again. Oh, wait, no, you can't send Cyan. You have to send a Korean player.
It has to be either Su, Dark, Maru, or Stats.
I think you send Su here.
No, maybe
I think
Stats.
that's a really strong pick.
No, I think you send Stats. Because then Stats is a PVT and he doesn't have to worry about that. He doesn't want to have to play a PVZ later. Stats make Maru.
It makes the most sense.
It feels good when you have the same thought process as a captain.
Yeah, no, totally.
Now I know how ShoWTimE felt when he got picked first. It's something special.
That's right.
I think this is the smartest pick. If they were serious about having Su against Serral, which could very well be serious, because Su obviously beat Serral twice at Nation Wars in Paris. He won 2 CVZs in a row. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I think it's a very smart counter pick by Team Maru.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough match, no doubt, for Kelazhur. Really looking to pick up a victory. Don't forget, he is the only player from Team World last year to pick up a game in this portion of the tournament against the Koreans.
Yeah, that was against TY and a TVT, the only guy doing damage from Team World. I feel like there's going to be a little bit more damage from Team World this time, but, I mean, it's just not about Team World right now. It's Team Serral versus Team Maru, so let's get that point on the board here.
That was quite a game, though. That was the ultimate game of 66% chance, and let's hope for the best. Kelazhur just building barracks on the other side of the map, hoping that he was close to TY's main base, and he was. And it wasn't exactly a smooth and easy victory after that, but he did get the job done. And Kelazhur also said, like, well, guys, I lost in the GSL versus the World Tournament, but we all know the main reason why I'm here, and that is see you at the team match. So.
Okay, we're going to show a quick highlight video, then we're going to jump into our next game. And here you can see the Adepts of Zest coming up. They do manage to break through, targeting down the sentry. And Zest really just seizing the moment in this game and not allowing Haas to do what he wants to do.
I mean, this is not a coincidence that that sentry has no energy. That is obviously calculated. He waited for it. He's like, I know that you're going to hallucinate a Phoenix because that's what everybody does with a sentry.
Yeah.
So the moment you hallucinate it, you don't have enough force field energy. And then all I have to take down is either a battery or a pylon that has like 20% HP. That's actually a super, super cool move by Zest. I love it.
And I want to point out something that wasn't shown here in this highlight, but just when he was sitting there killing the 8 probes, the hallucinated Phoenix saw the Dark Shrine, but not until he killed all the Adepts did he make the Robo, right? So that as well added additional damage to this attack.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that should be a fun PvT coming up.
I cannot wait for this. This is going to be so cool. What a special day that we have down here where we get the best Koreans, the best non-Koreans together. I keep saying it, but this is one of the funnest events I've ever done in my entire career.
It's truly special when we do get to see the Koreans against the WCS circuit. Like, you know, it's a rarity. You know, get your IEM Katowice, a few of those IEMs, and like last year, Shanghai as well was a great time. So you count these events as something truly special, like a big part of the history for the game, for sure.
Yeah, indeed. Well, I mean, it's kind of interesting that we switched it up as well, where it's not just a team of Koreans against a team of foreigners. It's like 2 very mixed teams going at it with the possible ace. I feel like this is going to make it a much tighter battle overall, but I'm also kind of sitting here wondering, like, okay, how many maps is each side going to take?
Yeah, but now obviously we are going to keep track of that score as well, because there is still money on the line for Team Korea versus the circuit players. And right now the score is 1-0. Like, yes, Team Serral may be leading, but in Korea versus the world, Korea is leading 1-0.
Team Serral is only half of the foreigners, so
This is a good way
don't
to
think
put
of it that way.
Looks like we're going to be jumping into our game in a moment here. It's completely packed down at the Blue Hall here in Itaewon. Crazy. The energy in here is electric, and I cannot wait. Can't wait for this next match to start. The Kelazhur did have a good showing in the last GSL versus the World.
He did.
Which was a much bumpier GSL versus the World for the non-Korean players than this time around.
You know, I'm very excited about this matchup because Kelazhur is kind of the nemesis of ShoWTimE these days. There's been like 4 or even 5 WCS events in a row where Kelazhur achieved offline victories over ShoWTimE. While ShoWTimE looks so incredibly good against almost everybody else that he plays, Kelazhur is kind of his nemesis. So let's see how that TVP of our Brazilian Terran player shapes up against, well, the finalists that we have in action later today as well, which is Stats.
Well, whenever you find a player that's not maybe quite as good as another player, but they keep beating them, that's generally a stylistic thing.
Yep.
And to be honest, Stats and ShoWTimE aren't that different stylistically. They're both kind of defensive Protosses overall.
Yep.
So it might actually be something that works relatively well against Stats.
Also, this is a different kind of matchup. This is something that's a little bit more fun, a little bit more laid back. Maybe Stats doesn't go for his regular style. Maybe he tries and put a spanner in the works here.
Yeah,
Maybe do something a little bit tricky, a little bit fun.
You know, it's kind of funny that you say that. That could be the case, but I guarantee you that Kelazhur is going to be going at 150%.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
He hasn't won a map yet in the tournament. Stats is in the finals. You might be right. He might be like, all right, you know, let me do something for the fans here, you know. Dance an Oracle or something, I don't know. But as far as Kelazhur goes, I have no doubt full serious face build coming out.
It's risky as well, because even though this is kind of a big team match and we're going to have a lot of StarCraft coming your way, for a lot of these guys, it can be over in 7 or 8 minutes, because they will just play one game, obviously, if you're not Stats or Serral. That's your only moment today to shine. And I don't think if you're Kelazhur, you come all the way out there, you get makeup, he looks fantastic, you know, he wears his jersey, you're in the negotiations with your teammate, you make all these strategies, and then you do a cheese and you lose in 6 minutes. Like, that shouldn't add pressure, because if you believe the cheese is the best thing you can do, you should do it. But it still goes through the back of your mind, like, man, I really don't, like, that's the only game I'll play today, right? You don't want it to be an embarrassing game.
No, certainly.
It's a good point. Also, with Kelazhur, he strikes me as a player who really is trying to be like a Rain or one of these players that just has good defense, has solid play, isn't crazy. So that's going to be a big question. If you're going to do this just one game, how exactly do you want to play it? Do you want to just try to get that fast win, or do you want to actually do something that would be more conservative, like what you've been practicing all along?
If I'm Kelazhur, I think I'll go regular Reaper fast expand and just believe in myself and just try to...
Just play your best game.
Yep.
That's it.
Just play a macro-oriented game, but obviously be aggressive, because Kelazhur is a very aggressive player, and Stats is pretty much the opposite. He can be aggressive, don't get me wrong, but Stats, we praise him for his defense, and he deserves it.
Yeah, and he, you know, I would say just stylistically speaking, it's okay to be attacking Stats, but don't be trying to trick him out by flying a medevacuum while you got a small force over here, because both are going to die. Both are going to die, okay? We've seen Byun run into this wall 100 times. You want to attack Stats, get all your units together, attack him. That's fine, okay?
Yeah, if he looks bulletproof against Maru, then Kelazhur's got a hell of a lot of work ahead of him here.
Yeah, I wonder if Stats is going to just play the same way as he did yesterday. He's like, you know, defend, blink stalkers, control the map a little bit, and then when I have 3 Colossus, let's run to the other side of the map, a couple Guardian Shields. You know, this is really weird, and you guys can make fun of me, and everybody that doesn't play Protoss is going to make fun of me for this, but every single time he had a crucial fight, it felt like 98% of his units were covered in Guardian Shield.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds easy because it's massive, but Zealots, they run in all directions, and sometimes your army spreads out a little bit too much. So it's like, yeah, you'll cover half of it, that's normal, or sometimes a little bit more. But I felt in some of those crucial fights, all of his units were within that circle of Guardian Shield all the time. And that is such a sick thing, because if somebody goes into a battle with a +2 armor or upgrade advantage, we're all like, you can never win this fight.
Yeah.
So Guardian Shield is massive, and yes, it's easy to use, but it's not easy to really have it in the perfect position where A, it stays alive, and B, it protects your entire army.
Yeah, you got to split those sentries up to other sides of your army, not just have them all in the middle or something. I know what you mean, because it happens to me as well. I'll I'll have a huge army, right, going in to hit the battle, and I'm like, Guardian Shield, and they're like just barely outside each other.
And the
Like,
other
that's
cool
+4 armor, right? Like, come on, give me something
it
here.
should stack. You're absolutely right.
Just like Storm should stack.
Just 10 sentries, all with Guardian
Yeah.
shields up. It's
You
like
have one zealot and it
Ultralisk.
just breaks through a natural.
Hey, if Zerg can have the Ultralisk with a bunch of queens behind it, I want to have a Zealot with 12 armor, okay? Like, why not?
I mean,
Great idea.
another thing that you get that's really stylistic of stats that was really cool in the series, if you remember, is I'm sorry.
I was just thinking that many sentries, all the armor missiles going at him. It's just like, what a dumb game this would become.
That's the version of StarCraft we all want, let's be honest, guys. Another stylistic thing is, like, if you cover up the nameplate of stats, but you see a guy with, like, 3 or 4 oracles dropping stasis wards everywhere, catching the army on the retreat and all that stuff, that is a stats thing. That's how you know that is the guy, all right? Because that was another really cool thing about the series of Maru that we haven't really brought up yet.
Yeah, he did well with that.
Yeah, the stasis ward ambushes.
How concerned do you think Stats is about this match at all, considering what else he has to do today?
Not very concerned.
I mean, for him, he's like, whatever, okay, I'm just going to play a PvT.
Yeah. Look,
and to get back to focusing on the finals.
This is Stats brushing his teeth before he goes to the airport to fly an airplane over a war zone, okay? That's how important this is.
Okay, it looks like our players are almost ready. And we are going to be jumping into this next game. This is just game 2 of this show match. So, again, some real pleasure here on Kelazhur. He did not have a great showing at this GSL vs. World, despite him being one of the very best outside of Korea. He certainly wants to try to prove that now. This would just be huge for him.
I love these jackets, by the way. I'm so jealous. Where's mine?
They gave us some last year, remember?
Yeah, we can.
Well, I didn't give one. I got one from one of the players. I forgot who gave it to me, but one of the players from Team Korea back then. I had the option between 2 jackets, and then I actually just got one, and they're like, which one do you want? I'm like, Team Korea.
Looks like our game is ready. Stats versus Kelazhur. Let's go.
All right, our first player, the red Protoss in the bottom right of Dreamcatcher. He is
Splice Stats.
And on the left top side of Dreamcatcher, we're looking at the main base of the only player to win a match last year for Team World. It is
Kelazhur.
All right, Maney. I've tried to share this story twice now on the broadcast, and 2 times we've had awesome videos, which was obviously more important than my story, and I'm okay with that. But I just want to share this really funny moment
I love your stories. Please tell me your
that I
story.
noticed yesterday. So we're sitting in the makeup room, right? And Innovation is currently playing against Serral, and next to me are Maru, Dark, and Stats, and they're all looking at the TVs. Obviously, they're paying careful attention to the games, and Maru is just like, because the translator is standing next to me, and I'm like, hey, what are they saying? So he's translating this to me word by word, and Maru is looking at these games of Serral versus Innovation. He's like, Serral's so good. He's like, Stats, tomorrow, you go. And Stats looks at Maru, and Stats is like, what? No, send Dark. And Dark is standing there, and Dark is like, what? CVZ, are you crazy? Why don't you go, Maru? You're the captain. And they're just bouncing the potential Serral opponent around in this match. I'm actually super curious to see if it is going to be Sue in the end or not, because Sue did look very good against Serral during Nation Wars in Paris. But yeah, I just thought it was really funny to hear them. It's like, you go, you go, you go. It's like, oh, come on, you 3 are like the 3 best players in the world, or stand up for yourself. But it was like obviously half banter, but also a little serious. It was
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I mean, no shame to try and avoid Serral here like the plague. He's a pretty scary guy. And we saw the stats earlier, like how Dreamcatcher has been quite good historically for Terran, but of course this is a different kind of matchup. We have an international Terran here coming down to face Stats in Korea. And it's all pretty regular stuff. We had touched on the build earlier. It's just a 1-gate expand from Stats and Reaper expand from Kelazhur. Scouting as much scouting potential as possible here for the Terran.
Yep, but he did go with a second barracks before the factory. So I'm not going to say this is uncommon, because we absolutely did see that in this tournament as well. Once again, it's the quick robo, by the way, for Stats. Now we'll keep a close eye on if he goes for a Twilight Council or not as well. Now Kelazhur's build, I wouldn't say it's uncommon, but for the longest time it was kind of standard to go Reaper, fast expand, and then immediately into your factory. But now we actually see that he's adding a second barracks before he goes into the factory, which obviously means he's going to have access to more bio units. He's going to get stim quite a bit quicker. So this is kind of what Maru did against Stats as well on Dreamcatcher, and Maru was successful with it.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to bring that up as well. I mean, this 2-on-1 normally comes with a stim drop timing with a bunch of Marines. You just try and surprise your opponent. But even if you do get scouted, well, you can just drop a third barracks, get your double upgrades and your 2 tac labs, and your bio is good to go. And you have a very, very safe army to be able to take that third base if you want to switch gears instead of get aggressive.
Yeah, this is one of these moments where it's kind of hard to put it in words exactly or numbers, but what the opening of Kelazhur and yesterday Maru does as well is that you force out a reaction from your opponent. Stats cannot go up to 3 bases and 60 probes while going up against this. Yeah, he's actually changing things up. It's a Dark Shrine over here. That's really cool. But let's say if Stats would have done for a regular Twilight opening where he gets blink, barely any units, rushes up to 3 bases at the 4-minute mark, then he has to stop building probes. So then even if the Terran doesn't deal economic damage with their opening, what they are doing is they're slowing the Protoss economy down, because these guys know that if they do go up to 60 probes, they just lose immediately against the first stim attack. So it's one of those moments where you're dealing damage without actually picking off any units.
A little bit of miscontrol here on the Gateway Army. That Reaper of Kelazhur getting close to the main base, and a Death Shade though should intercept. Oh, he just misses out on that vision of the Dark Shrine there.
And this is rough actually. If you're Kelazhur right now, if I'm Kelazhur, I'm damn sure that this is a regular blink opening. I'm like, okay, I see the Stalkers. I'm expecting you to go up to 3 bases real soon. You have a robotics facility as well. I am not worried about Dark Templars at this point, because Stats hadn't shown a Dark Templar drop yet, and that's just not what you expect to happen here.
Certainly not, and I had a feeling Stats might go for something like this. He's a cheeky guy. Like, yes, he is the modern Rain in StarCraft 2, very defensive, can lock things down like the best of them. But he's also, he's a little bit cheeky. You know, he'll drop a Dark Shrine, he'll proxy a Stargate, and let's see how these DTs go. He's done a warp in, but it looks like the Medivacs might be an intercept.
That could be massive. At least Kelazhur is going to spot this Prism. He doesn't necessarily know. Kelazhur, no! Okay, that's really bad. I don't think he's expecting Dark Templars there. He's like, okay, you're gonna drop 2 Adepts in my main or something, 3 Adepts. This is really bad. The eBay is not done yet, not a single turret. There is not that much energy available to scan. Oh my goodness, Kelazhur is in a world of trouble.
Oh man, DTs again, upsetting things for Team Serral here. And then come those DTs, 3 of them in fact, with the War Prism still to be able to support them in case there is a scan available. They can get loaded up into the Prism and get out of harm's way.
I really wonder how the Marines are doing on the other side of the map. I'm gonna take a look at that. These Stalkers, they do have blink though. No shield battery, but there is a Dark Templar in the mix as well. And that 1 DT is cleaning up. Kelazhur is taking a lot of damage at home.
Yeah, I mean, this is starting to just be game, and that's gonna be it. Wow, just like that. Just makes the DT tech, catches him with his pants down, gets the job done, and sometimes that's just as simple as that. Stats getting a little mind gamey here, and as a result, getting the win over Kelazhur. Not really getting to flex these TVP muscles at all.
So I'm just taking notes over here, 1 second. Want to win games on international tournaments? Drop Dark Shrine. Check. So I guess that's how you do it, Tosus.
Well, I guess so, huh? And I'm starting to see a little bit of a disturbing trend where the Koreans get to pick which foreigner that they're going up against, you know? Because if the foreigner keeps losing, the other team has to pick first, which will be a foreigner sent out. So basically, like, that gives an advantage even to the Korean players.
Oh, absolutely.
They fall like dominoes, basically.
Yeah.
At least as far as, like, trying to counter, in theory. Well, let's see. I mean, who do they try to bring out there? Do they need to bring out their very, very best?
So
Cyan.
now somebody of Team Maru has to come out first, and they have to send out a foreigner. So they could go for Cyan, they could go for ShoWTimE or Special. It's going to be one of those 3. And then somebody from Team Serral, a Korean, can counter. So Cyan, ShoWTimE, or Special. That's what it's going to be next.
I mean, you could base this off of map a little bit, but because your opponent is like, I feel like you throw out who you believe is your weakest player, right? And then they have to like decide, like, oh god. And this will, when you get to your stronger 2 players, then you're gonna have like make it harder for them, right, on who they have to pick for that. So yeah, I kind of feel like Cyan might come out here.
I'm feeling a Juanito. Special. No?
Oh wait, what?
He's going for Cyan.
All right, Maru's gonna play 3rd player.
I thought that's not how it goes. I thought it was supposed to be a foreigner pick by them.
Well, we're going to see what's going to happen over here with Team Serral. Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
Oh, they're going to send out Serral.
Oh, that's awesome.
My God.
That is so cool, guys. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
I love it.
Oh, my God.
You've been waiting for it out there, guys. StarCraft fans.
I love it.
Look at Maru. he's like, oh no, it's happening.
Yes. He's like, no, I'm going back. Sul, you go.
This is crazy right now.
Oh my goodness.
All right, well, we're going to go right into some insanity.
So everyone wanted to see this.
We're going to get it. By the way, Serral wins here and then wins GSL versus the world. I mean, we've pretty much knocked off any other possible people we could speculate with.
Yeah.
Guys, this is so freaking cool.
Yeah, I can't believe that already we're going to have Maru Serral. And I'm sitting here talking about how I'm like, oh, you think you'd put out the weaker players first? Okay, 2 world best players. Let's go. Do it now.
So I actually love the fact that now actually Maru had to send out one of the Koreans of his team, because then it prevents a scenario that you pictured first, right?
Yeah.
So they actually fixed that problem before that problem even existed, so we were wrong in that regard. But yeah, this is so freaking cool, guys. I'm so excited.
Okay, so we got a highlight over here. You can see Stats chasing down the Reaper as it does try to get inside the main.
Yeah, and it just didn't get to see the Dark Shrine.
Unfortunately, yeah. DT's twice now, guys.
Yeah, DTs versus Foreigners has been the name of the game so far in this team match.
Indeed. Well, when DTs get in and you don't have scans, guess what it looks like? It looks like this.
If they're invisible and you can't see them, that's a problem. So
no turrets, eBay not done yet. No scans available.
No.
I mean, these Marines were doing all right, but you can't scan. You need to scan at home. So obviously, he was never going to win the game with these 60 Marines. Well done by Stats, switching it up, making it seem like things are the same as yesterday, where he goes for the 3-base opening with Blink, but actually he went for the Dark Templars. Just a solid victory by him.
Indeed. Well, guys, spread the word. Serral versus Maru.
Pinch me, Tosis.
Yeah, no, it's like one of those Neo versus Morpheus
Morpheus
moments.
fight Neo.
But it's like better than that.
This is when Goku fights one of the bad guys, but he turns into a Super Saiyan. You're like,
Oh
oh my god, I can't wait to see this battle.
I was so looking forward to this match
No.
possibility.
No. This is Walter White from Breaking Bad against Khaleesi from Game of Thrones is what this is, okay? That's what we're about to watch.
You are on fire.
You are
Arthur.
killing it,
I
man.
feel like the three of us just need to go backstage and just watch you do this thing.
I'm not on fire. Okay, Serral's on fire.
That is true.
And the only people that might be able to put him out are Maru and Stats. That's all we have left for Team Korea.
And it's Lost and Found as well, right? That's actually that's a really cool map. So it's not like Darkness Sanctuary, cross map or whatever. It's like, no, it's a solid map for Zerg, absolutely. But, you know, there's also potential for Terran to make some magic happen there. Ah, this is cool. Even if it's the best of one, guys, amazing.
Real quick, the odds of double proxy barracks.
No, he wouldn't
Actually,
do that.
no, he might.
No, he can't.
He might. Because if he
you
gets
can't.
later in a series, he'll do it, and this is just one game, which means it's as late as you can.
We
you
get
can
to
be in a
figure out
series.
now if Maru cares about the fans or not. That's what we get to figure out.
That's right.
He can do that.
Does he
to us.
hate his fans? Or does he love his fans? Because if he loves his fans, we're going into a macro game. If he hates his fans, 2 barracks
Is there
across
no
the map.
exclamation?
3 barracks, maybe.
There's no little mention somewhere of a no rush 15, because that's what we all want to see, right?
I don't see it in the rules anywhere.
Well, I mean, game 1 and 2 would have looked very different if it was no rush 15. So.
Yeah, but that's only from this one. That's only for the captain.
just for this one.
It's
Okay,
a
okay,
captain's rule, guys.
Yeah,
It's
we're
a
rewriting
captain.
the rules right now. I gotta get my pen though. I lost my pen. It's
So
down there
cool.
somewhere.
Who do you guys think? Come on, be honest.
Who's going to win this?
Yeah.
It's going to be
Serral,
Serral.
man. Of course.
It's gonna
what
be Serral.
language is this stream on?
All right.
It's going to be Serral.
What do you think, Mr. Terran?
I mean, I'm the Terran. Maru's he's my god. He's my god emperor.
So you
and
think?
I think that he's gonna take this
Wow. Well, there's some Korean casters over there. You should hang out with me.
Okay,
They only got 3 of them, too. Maybe you can fit in a little bit better with them. Jeez.
one. Haters. Bunch of haters.
Yeah.
No, I think Serral can do this. I want him to do this. I want him to win. And then if he wins the GSL versus the world, we might have to move our
can pack it
studio.
up.
We're
We're
going to have
good.
to move the studio to Finland.
It would also be very nice for the storyline of Team Korea versus Team World. Like, even though they're on different teams, but right now Korea has a 2-0 lead already over the circuit. So the circuit kind of needs one back on the board. Of course, between Team Maru and Team Serral, it's all tied up at this point. But I would like to have that one a little closer as well.
Well, they're getting their stuff set up. We'll be jumping into this as soon as we possibly can. We went through those first 2 games pretty quickly, but maybe this will be a long macro game.
Well,
maybe
I
he does
certainly
love
hope
the
so.
Maybe it's a long game. Could be a short game or the middle.
Yeah, there's
We've
all sorts
covered
of different
everything
game
with that.
lines that it could end up being, right? But what if, like, it actually gets into that insane mode, right? There's, like, there's ghosts everywhere, but Serral knows how to play late game, so it's, like, not that easy, Maru. What's up? And, like, the map gets mined out, and just it turns into one of those games, right, where there's like an Infestor and 2
They're
Ultras
fighting over one
versus
expansion,
4 Ghosts.
but this time the Terran doesn't win, and then Zerg just uses abilities so perfectly and closes it out.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, you guys cast your mind back to day one where that proxy Rax got scouted, and then Maru won anyway.
On 16-bit?
Just turned it into a
that was
absolute
that was
late-game
crazy.
scenario, and then, I mean, yeah.
I just want to mention, like, a lot of people still bring up the last time Maru and Serral went up against each other, which was back then in WESG semifinals. And yes, they did have ultra late game on Eastwatch, but back then the Raven did twice the damage it currently does with the anti-armor missile. And that does changes things quite a bit. Like, I'm super excited. I hope we get indeed like a real game. Like, the proxies, I don't give it to me, not now, you know. Any other moment I'm okay with some dirty StarCraft, but right now I want some clean, romantic, long, loving StarCraft.
Not like this.
Not like
this. We want macro games.
Macro everywhere. Let's see it.
I mean, Innovation versus Serral, if you look back at that series yesterday, the best game of all 3 maps was definitely on Lost and Found. That was actually one game where I thought, kind of had Serral on the ropes, or at least I was a little worried about some of the positions. I was like, man, if Serral takes one bad fight here, but he made really good clutch decisions when he was under pressure. He's like, no, actually, you're pretty all in, so I can sacrifice this base. I'll just re-expand to the top side. Serral played very well, but that was definitely the best game of the 3.
Yeah, I would agree on that. Like, Lost and Found does give us long, epic games, but I feel like Zerg tends to win them a bit more than Terran, for sure.
That's why I said it's definitely a good map for Serral. Like, you can't say, like, oh, best of 1 on Lost and Found, that's rough. Now, obviously, if proxies happen, that kind of changes things a little bit, but it's not bad.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, too, for Zerg to really kill Terran early on. Like, it can happen. You can hit some of these weird Roach Ravager rush timings and stuff, but it seems like it's just a little bit easier getting a late game to kill them.
What about a draw, guys?
If we get a draw,
what actually happened?
I'm not even sure what. I don't know. They'll come and tell us if that actually happens. Someone will run over here and let us know what we need to do.
He runs out of money trying to nuke him down, and it's just like, oh, wow, that's it. There's one floating command center, and all the corruptors died.
Yeah.
The queens are all walking around, and the spores are all walking around like it's a computer that's glitching out.
So what happens after this match? Since now we had 2 Koreans in a row for Team Maru, that would mean another foreigner coming out of Team Serral, correct? Because then I assume it's 2 and 2. ABBA. I mean, right now we have 2 Koreans in a row.
Maybe they can just throw out whoever they want.
I think
might be it. That would make sense, because otherwise it turns into that weird thing I was saying.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe that's just not part of the rules.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Like, oh, we'll throw out Maru. They'll probably throw someone easy against me, Maru's
I love the moment that Maru walked up, that all the members on Team Serral immediately looked at Serral.
Yeah.
You saw Neeb massaging his shoulders. He's like, this is your moment.
It's all you, buddy.
Oh, so cool, guys. Have fun.
All right. I can't wait. We're going into this. This is Maru versus Serral. Team Maru versus Team Serral. It's finally happening. Let's get this TVZ going here at the GSL versus the world.
Fight!
In the upper right, in the red, best Terran in the world, he is
Jin Air Green Wings, Maru.
In the bottom
and
left.
in the bottom. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You do it. No.
I'm sorry, Tasteless. In the bottom left, this is
NC Sports, Serral.
We're just so excited.
I know. We're
just like, no,
that's what happens when you put 2 hype casters together.
We're just crawling at each other like cats, trying to get this cast underway.
Okay. This is the best Zerg in the world, by the way.
The
no
best
disputing that. Yeah, we have the best Terran, the best Zerg duking it out.
The best Zerg outside of Korea, getting it done in Korea. That's what this tournament's been all about. It's going to be in the grand final later, but right now, you all wanted it, you're going to get it. It's unfortunately just a best of 1.
I'm glad we at least get to have this moment, though. Okay. Maru versus Serral here. We see Maru making a command center now on low ground, getting 1 Reaper out. So far, everything very normal here from Serral. I don't think that Serral's going to do anything crazy or all-in at all.
He is the kind of guy that will go pull first from time to time, but does he get aggressive with it? Not always. Generally, it's just for a bit of safety, maybe like pressure the low ground expansion a little bit if Maru wanted to go for something like that. But I'm pleased to see that there's nothing too insane coming out of either player here, leading into what hopefully is going to be the later game.
as the game goes on, we have a factory coming down now. Ling's speed is on the way. And, yeah, I mean, everything's looking pretty standard for the time being. The Reaper moving out now, trying to rotate through the third base area, and does get confirmation that Serral is taking his third base just north of his natural.
Yeah, he almost had that timing down pat to be able to, pressure that third drone a little bit before it got that hatchery down, but just missed his window. The Reaper not really getting a whole lot of information for him yet, but this is lost and found. He has another path for the Reaper to get into the main. But honestly, you see the third base, you see these Lings, you see this Queen. You kind of, don't need to see the main at this point as a Terran. You know that your Zerg opponent is just trying to get drones, Queens up, and get that solid economy leading into the mid-game. Serral coming in with this Overlord here. Going to see that Maru is very likely switching over into Hellions. I don't think he saw the starport, but you can kind of guess that this is, a regular 1-1-1 opening here from Maru, but information is key.
That's right, getting over there, that tech lab now starting. Now Serral wants to try to get the creep spread as good as possible, and this is one of the reasons why Serral rarely dies to pushes, as he is so efficient at getting the creep out. And at the highest levels of play, Terrans are so sophisticated with how they will try to deny creep, the order in which they rotate, what units they'll send to where. But Serral gets that out. Now, what's so crazy about a game like this going into a very long one is that Maru's got the scariest pushes in the world. I mean, Maru, or the early point of 2018, was doing pushes, straight up mid-game pushes with 2 tanks that would end the game, which I thought was not supposed to be a thing you could do anymore after you have an RTS that's been around as long as StarCraft 2.
See, the thing is, it looked weak when it started, but Terrans got so good at it, tasteless, and it just became scarier as it got older instead of the opposite. And Serral's coming in with a nice timed Overlord here. This Overlord's not going to die in time for Maru to hide any of his structures. He's going to see the barracks researching stim. He's going to see the tech lab spinning on the starport as well. And this is straight into Banshee from Maru. Sometimes Terrans will get the Viking first, then get the Banshee after, but Maru really wants to get Banshees on the field immediately here to start hitting the drone line of Serral.
Now, occasionally there's an option where you would, for instance, cancel Cloak and try to fake him out, but Maru's committing. Meanwhile, we have the Hellions coming up now, trying to get some of this creep away, but there are Queens here to defend. Pretty good juggling with that Reaper, knocking that one Queen back.
Plenty of Lings here for Serral and his Queens. They don't have transfusions on them, but they do have a lot of hit points, and they are not afraid of these Hellions. However, this Banshee with Cloak is a different story. Thankfully for Serral, this layer is going to finish up in a timely fashion. He can get an Overseer in desperation mode. He also has Spore Crawler coverage, but it is a little dicey. This Banshee is certainly a threat. Maru deciding not even going to try and tussle with it. He sees the lair, he sees the Spore and the Queen. Doesn't even want to bother trying to shave off a drone here.
Yeah, instead he backs up. He did show that he had Cloak, though. He was close enough so that Serral should have spotted that. And instead he's going to come over here with the Banshee and try to take the Queens. Now the Cloak Banshee, there is nothing to defend over here right now. We see an Overseer coming up, but that was a lot of damage on that Banshee.
Gets the Banshee, nice start to the defense there of Serral, and these Hellions without Banshee support are just not that scary anymore.
Now here's something we got to point out. The Cloak investment and the Banshee, that did not pay for itself in any way. There's a second Banshee coming out. Let's see if Maru can do anything with this, but right now Serral's defense is looking stellar.
Certainly. Getting a bit of creep tumors over here to the third base, which is a nice start here for Maru. Obviously denying creep, a pretty huge part of TVZ to make pushes a little bit easier later in the game. He's got his third CC morphing into an orbital at the front of his wall. Another attempt in the main base here from Maru. The Overseer out of position, just 1 Queen and Spore here. This time he is going to pull some drones away from that gas geyser and the mineral patches as well. Not too much direct damage though.
Stim is going to finish up here. We see the fourth base is under fire. The Banshee's coming down here as well. Now, this is a lot of DPS. The Banshee is being put further back out of Queen range, but with the Queens there, the Hellions and Banshee have to respect that. They do back off.
I'm amazed that Serral's getting so much done with just 4 Queens here. A lot of European Zergs, they want to go to 5, 6 Queens just for safety. Serral's like, no, I can cut that corner. These babies, they can inject. We only need 4 on the front line.
It's funny because the whole art of playing Zerg at the highest level is cutting corners.
Yeah.
You don't want to over-defend. Then if you're over-defending, you don't have a good economy. If you're attacking too much and not doing anything with it, then you're hemorrhaging too many units. In this case, he's holding this off with the bare minimum. The control is perfect, and Maru really isn't able to slow him down that much, besides some of the creep that was wiped out at the top earlier. But you can see Serral's already replaced that.
The scariest part for Serral here is that Maru now has siege tanks. Now he's got a nice ball of Marines here. They're upgraded with Stim. They don't quite have combat shield yet, but when they reach his front door, it's about the time when they're going to have 1-1. The Banelings need to be up right now, and he needs to have a good contingent of Queens and Lings to round up this defense.
Okay, here come the Marines and tanks now. we are going to see this attack come in here. The Lynx are going to come in from behind. The Baits are going to connect, and Maru has to pick up. The tank goes down. Can he try to shovel it further back? I don't know if he's going to be able to get any more presence. If he can't get more tanks, Serral retracts and regroups.
The front door is open and the Lynx are running into the natural here. Maru is going to have to use his reinforcements to clean this out. Oh my god, the Banelings are rolling in on the high ground, connecting with the Marines and the Hellions as well. The Hellbats going down to the Lynx and Banelings of Serral. He wipes Maru off the map.
This is insane. He's taking out so many SCVs. 1-1 is about to finish. Maru in a lot of trouble. We have more Lynx coming up now. It looks like they're going to go towards the third base. We don't see very much here to defend it all.
And these Lynx of Serral are getting so much damage done. 18 SCVs and counting going down here for Serral. The Banelings are starting to roll in. There's a transfer of SCVs as well, but Serral's going straight to the heart of the natural. He connects there, and this living Ling picks up a few of those hit point SCVs, going up to 25 in total. Brilliant run by there from Serral. He is in charge.
This is pretty crazy. I mean, Serral shut down the initial push from Maru. Then the counterattack comes in, takes out so many SCVs. The tank count was completely reduced. You see Maru's had to restart that. The medevacs and Marines are having to be regrouped. Maru has no map presence, no map control.
Oh man, what a great start here for the Finnish Zerg. He is certainly wearing the daddy pants right now in this game. He's done everything right. He makes defending against Terran pushes look so simple. It's incredible stuff here from Serral. And it looks like Maru is going to try for a follow-up.
Okay, we see this push trying to come out now. By the way, 83 workers over here. This is actually pretty crazy. So instead, well, you can see Maru's kind of hemming and hawing on the side of the map here, trying to figure out, okay, how exactly do I attack in here? The Lynx are going to try to come down now. But, you know, there's not much pressure here on Serral. I mean, this game is really more of Maru's problem than Serral. Serral has the lead, right? And when you have a lead as a Zerg player and a ZVT, you just need to try to maintain it and wait for the Terran to try to attack out.
And when Serral has a lead, I don't even remember the last time he lost that lead, Tasteless. I see him ride that wave all the way to GG. But Maru, this is a different beast. He certainly has the ability. He's got the skills to pay the bills. He's going up into the second factory now to get double siege tank production. It's going to be very important against these Hyglists. But Serral's already switching gears. He's getting Adrenal. It's time to get those Vipers out in the ground to make those tanks a little bit less effective here for Maru.
Okay, now I want to point out a part of the map we're not really watching. The upper left is so creep heavy. It's going to be so easy for Serral to try to expand up there, which would not even necessarily be the natural expanding pattern for the Zerg, but he's got such map dominance. The creep is also now going all the way to the bottom right. Maru is tucked into fetal position as far as map control goes.
Yeah.
Serral's now hitting the maxed out point, and it's going to be up to Maru. Again, he has to try to do something, but even creep alone, he's unable to deny.
Serral's one of the players that has gotten me so excited about Legacy of the Void. Maru as well. Since this iteration of the game, players have gotten really good about having multiple armies on the map and controlling them all at once. The multitasking in the modern iteration of StarCraft 2 is really incredible. It's not Deathball versus Deathball. We got Serral in the north with a defensive force, clearing away those medevacs of Maru. He's got a big army to the south, just defending that expansion pattern, and we're seeing those Vipers getting juiced up, ready for the next fight.
Okay, Maru's getting close to maxing out. The question is, which direction does he want to try to go? He has not really denied creep in the middle, the top, or the bottom, as far as Serral is concerned. So it is a long distance to travel. It looks like for now he just wants to try to turtle up and maybe keep trying to get upgrades, but that's not going to be enough. Remember, guys, big picture here. Terran does not have as many spaces to take on a map. Oh, hold on a second. We actually have another attack coming in here. Maru is going to be taking some heavy fire over here at the third base as well as the fourth.
Well, there's a planetary to the north, so it might be all right here. He loses a lot of SCVs there at that base to the south. Damn, nice run by here from Serral. Oh, he's not done. He's bringing the Vipers this time, Tasteless. That planetary's in a bit of trouble. There's only one tank here. And abduct on the medevac. I'm not sure he needed to do that, but obviously the tank is a juicier of target, but whatever damage he can get done, it's only spell damage.
I was going to say earlier before that attack happened, you know, Terran don't have as many bases. They can't stretch out on the map as much as a Zerg, so he's going to have to do a push. But because Serral was so ahead, he had so much supply, he actually wants to start getting rid of some of that, attacking in and remaking his army and keeping Maru down.
Now, if we take our mind back to Maru versus Su, we talked about it before the game started. Maru versus Su was one of those series where we saw that Maru sometimes had a bit of a shaky early to mid-game, but when it got to that late game, when it was Liberated Ghost, he had all of his upgrades and he got to that scary, scary late-game TVZ army, he could absolutely run the mile, go the distance, and win that game in the end.
So we have a lot of Widow Mines that are littered around the Terran's base, but I love what we're seeing here from Serral. This is a really cost-efficient way to do it. Just harpoon units, as long as you're not being hit by Widow Mines.
Yeah, these Widow Mines are actually a brilliant addition here for Maru because Serral is so Ling Bane heavy. The Widow Mines are a lot more effective against this unit composition than the tanks are, and considering Serral's done a really great job at picking off tanks here and there with the abducts, with the run-bys, the mines make a lot of sense.
Okay, the creep is actually almost to the point where it's going to be right next to the Terran's base. And this is a huge map, by the way, so that's really saying a lot, considering what a titan Maru is in TVZ. Maru's decided to go for drops. There are overlords here to spot, and this is quite a long distance to travel. So you can see that Maru decides once he's spotted to go ahead and unload there. Either walk back or try to push on the ground. And it's going to be a push on the ground. By the way, in the very north at the 12 o'clock position, Maru is expanding again. I'm curious to see if Serral's going to give that much attention.
Ooh, nice catch there, getting one of those Vipers. There are still some alive, and they do have plenty of energy. Maru trying to hot pick up there, save some Marines. No man left behind. There's so much Zerg here. And with that creep to the north, it's so threatening to the Terran. You're right, Tasteless. He can swing around to the top, use that creep highway to get a nice, speedy attack path into that planetary to the north. Serral is taking the bottom of the map here, slowly but surely. And these hatcheries, do you remember a single drop from Maru?
No, I mean, the funny thing is, I think if he tried to drop, it would be unwise because it's at this point in time, Serral has so much vision on the map, it's like map hacks.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
I mean,
right.
Once you leave, Serral knows where you are. He's trying to push that back. And by the way, this quadrant, the upper right quadrant that Maru has, it's sort of like a triangle that he controls on the map. That's basically the only well, that's it for expansions. Anything else is considered, in map theory, too hard for Terran to control. You're too far out. So what Maru has, he's going to have to make it work or try to play a crazy, stretched out Terran game on Zerg territory.
So the differences between Su and Serral here is that Su kind of didn't really go down the Infestor path to deal with the Ghosts. He wanted to overwhelm with a lot of Tier 3 and a lot of Tier 2, but the Fungals are really such an invaluable tool for the Zerg. I'm loving this. The Fungal interrupts the snipe of the Ghost and can make you win an engagement or lose it, depending on how you use the spellcaster units of the Zerg. So I'm really pleased to see Pathogen Glands on the way here, with Serral, no doubt, looking to get Infestors later on.
Okay, we have what looks to be a push. Some of these command centers, by the way, may just be turned into planetaries. You eventually want to have this giant wall to try to keep out as many Zerg units as possible. You can see another wall set up over here. He wants Serral to trade ineffectively, but Serral's pretty good at dismantling stuff like this. Here we go, another coordinated attack.
And he's busting on through here. The tanks are getting erased from the face of the earth. Oh, the orbital's really low. The Banelings could potentially damage it to the point where it's going to burn down, but Maru with a nice hot pick up there saves most of his SCVs, but Serral's coming from the north as well. Oh, man, these Widow Mines, he's just going to try and bait them out as well as he can. Detonate through the mines. We got a nuke from Maru to the south as well. Action all over the map here, Tasteless. Oh, he gets the Ghost. No nuke for you.
Okay, another attack is going to be coming here from Serral. Every time Serral attacks in, Maru's supply plummets. He has to remake. And look at the minerals and gas that's banked up here for Serral. Serral could send a maxed army into his opponent 2 or 3 times and still be able to remake it all. Whereas everything from Maru is being spent down to 0 and then eventually rising back up once his supply frees up.
Now, if Serral gives Maru the breathing room to get that maxed army of Ghosts and also get max upgrades on these air units as well, it's going to actually try. I feel like it'll start to swing in Maru's favor. He is so good at the later stages of TVC, the best in the world at it. And he's getting deflecting these links to the north here. Serral again with 2 armies to the north and to the south. Maru is looking so locked down here with these Liberators.
All right, they're going to try to destroy these rocks over here, the Hydra's Lings and Ultra Will, and try to push into this location. There's not many minerals here. Good harpooning there on the Liberators. One goes down. Banelings spilling forward. And I do not believe this position can be held here by Maru. He is beginning to shrink in size on the map.
Certainly, if things don't go well to the north here, which looks like Maru actually might even take damage to the north and the south here. The Banelings are rolling into the mineral line. The planetary cannot be lifted, and the Banelings do so much damage. Finishes it off. Huge pick off there for Serral. And at the bottom, he also killed the orbital to the south.
This is looking like the Zerg in the campaign right now, just slowly wiping the Terrans out. You can see he's actually now hitting the natural wall in here. The moment that Serral identifies he's done enough damage, he turns around. He's never overextending. And what does Serral need to do now? It's simple. Rinse and repeat.
That's
Max
right.
out again and start hammering away at whatever else Maru has.
It feels like Serral's made one mistake in this game, and that was when he lost 1 Viper to a ball of Marines. There's just been so few mistakes here from the Finnish Zerg. It's incredible to see. And he is a well-earned lead here against Maru. He's been knocked down to barely a base mining economy, maybe in a base and a half, whereas the Zerg is all over the map, and his economy has not been touched once.
Okay, this may be the killing blow here. We see him coming forward here. A lot of Liberators set up. The Marines trying to kite backwards. Bailey's going down. And this is a huge amount of supply lost. As Maru plummets to 158, we see that the command center, it's under attack right now. It's not going to be a better time.
Massive damage there from Serral. He lost a lot of his army, though. It wasn't a very cost-effective trade overall. A big overextension with that army in the high ground there. Serral needs to use this bank that he's been accumulating to get that army back on the field.
Dude, this is so crazy. I mean, he is hammering Maru so hard. I do wonder, is there a chance for Serral to overextend? Because Maru seems to be pretty comfortable moving out. And so he's going to come across the map now. But Serral has the bank to make so many Banelings that you have to wonder, even if they ran all the way across the map, would they still survive?
Well, this is Maru's time. He's taken a lot of damage economically, but he has an incredibly scary army, Tasteless. This is actually a very real threat to Serral. If Maru pushes through and engages just right, Serral could very likely lose this game, even after having so much control up until the 18-minute mark.
But you know, Maynard, one of the problems here is that now that Maru's trying to move out, Serral's just shut down that northern base. So Maru has almost no income. As long as Serral can take out this army, it should be fine. The Banelings are coming in now. Liberators being taken up by the Corruptors. The kiting is quite good, but there's just too much here from Zerg. We see the Corruptors are taking this down. More Ultras coming forward. Serral needs to remax again.
Well, he managed to pick off a lot of the Liberators, and he's got some of the Ghosts, but there's still enough for Maru to be a bit of a threat here. Now he's getting on top of this hatchery, finally, starting to hit the economy of Serral here. He's got 64 Millings in the way, and one of the best ways to deal with a lot of Ghosts, once the Liberators are down, once there's no splash damage, is just get tons of Lings, tons of Banelings, and go straight up into their face.
Yeah, there's so much gas banked up here right now for Serral. We have another set of Lings running through. I feel like at this point in time, Serral is the very best at utilizing Ling counterattacks. And he does it in large numbers, really punishing a Terran who has most of his army out on the map. Look at this. Look at the map, guys. You see that little red blob in the upper right? Yeah, that's Maru. Okay, everything else is Serral. Serral looks like the blob. You know that old movie, The Blob?
Yeah.
He just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, he is consuming Maru and just growing in size every time he does that.
Maru's been in timeout this game, okay? He's trying to remake an army. Now, Serral isn't maxed out again yet, but you can see Maru's supply is kind of floating over here at 111.
So Maru's had like around 30 SCVs, maybe even less for a while here, so he can't really continue to keep going in the later stages of the game. Terran still needs a fair bit of minerals. You can't really just rely on a gas bank here as Terran. You need a bit of mineral income as well to round out your army to be able to get those Ghosts and those Liberators. So another bad trade for Maru, certainly going to end this game. Serral is still mining from quite a few bases here. His income's a lot better. He's got a lot more drones. Oh, this is actually really annoying. Having to use a scan here, no mules, but he has to land that orbital and he has to not lose it.
Okay, Maru needs to control this position. Serral is flirting with the idea of attacking in, and it looks like he's going to go for it now. No, he sees liberation zones, decides to rotate around. Meanwhile, another Ling counterattack down here, keeping Maru honest.
Okay, on the Banelings here from Serral, and again, not that much splash damage from Maru. He wants to get onto those Ghost numbers if he can get into the Ghost. Oh, more Banelings from the south here of Serral. The Planetary, Tasteless. The Planetary looks like it might go down, and it does. Serral's Ultra and Corruptors are ruling the sky and the ground, respectively. The Ghosts of Maru take out that Ultra, but Serral, I feel like he's done too much. GG! You wanted it, you got it. Serral beating Maru here, and his team is going to take the lead.
So crazy. Okay, so now we know that Serral can basically beat everybody. We just don't know about stats yet. Okay, but we got that match out of the way. Serral's so dominant. It's so crazy.
Woo! How good is this kid, Tasteless? How good is he? Wow.
I don't even know, guys.
Dude.
I mean, wow.
Man,
I'm out of words. I just used them all. They're gone.
I'm out
you guys
of words
take it
and
away.
I didn't even cast that game.
Oh man.
My goodness.
I'm like almost in tears right now of happiness. Just enjoying myself in here on the caster's desk, and that game was a real treat. Certainly the best game we've seen today, by far.
There's a lot of people who love Serral, but there's also a lot of people who really like to see him fail. They don't like the idea that somebody from Finland can compete with those amazing players from South Korea, but he is just setting the bar once again, even higher for himself. Unbelievable performance, really fun game to watch as well, but damn, Serral's so freaking good.
Yeah, and you see Serral right now, Sue and Dark talking to each other. You're like, wow, we need to learn to do that.
Like, can we get him over to South Korea? Can he join us in our
listen,
house?
guys, after this tournament's done, we're taking Serral's passport away, okay?
I know,
He's going
right?
to stay here.
Listen, I think that we as a community need to sit down and collectively have a talk with Serral and let him know that next year, if he does not try GSL at least one time, we're breaking up.
We need to talk, Serral.
Yeah.
Wow, look at Maru.
It's time to bring this to the next level, Serral. You have to play GSL now.
That was such an unbelievably cool game to watch as well. From time to time, obviously it looked very good for Serral after the beginning, but at one point, there were a couple of questionable fights in all those liberation zones, and you look at Maru's army, you're like, I've seen games like this, you know, where he has 140 army supply and he has plenty of orbitals, and he can always pull it back, but
Okay,
that was
so
amazing.
Classic's been selected to come out here. Now, who's the counter pick?
Well, Roddy, you've got pretty good predictions here.
What about ShoWTimE, guys?
Yeah, I think ShoWTimE probably PvP.
Look, they're crowding around him. I think it might be Demawa.
He's like, yeah, no, I could do it. Yeah.
Yeah. I love him.
Beat stats. I mean, I can beat him.
Ambition PvP, yeah. Bitte.
Yeah, bitte.
He's like, do you want to go? And Special's like, no.
Special's like, no.
What are you, insane?
And I guess Cyan
it's got to be one of them, right?
It's Cyan or ShoWTimE or Special. That must
those are their options right now.
It must be ShoWTimE here, and it's a cool one as well. Come on, it's a really fun one.
I think it's going to be ShoWTimE.
Oh, I think it's going to be ShoWTimE.
It should be me.
Yeah.
He's saying me. And Maru's like,
Okay,
yeah, I
here
told
we
you
go.
it's you.
Go. All right.
ShoWTimE.
Maru's like, hey, remember I picked you first. He's like, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. This is what I picked you for right here.
Pulls him by the front of his shirt down to his level and goes, don't you dare let me down. Not now.
What a match here as well, guys. That is an amazing PvP.
Now, here's the question, right? Stats is on ShoWTimE's team right now, but he's also a Korean. Who does he cheer for? This is the real story for me right now. Does ShoWTimE want Classic to show him, or Zest is what I meant. Anyways, we're going to commercial, so I can't even finish this.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back after this short break here at the GSL versus the World. Stick around.